And hello, everybody. I'm Dan Lutz, and welcome to the Frontlines. In the battle against the deep state, the cabal, the Illuminantes, and all those that wish to enslave all of humanity for their own selfish reasons. Welcome back. This is always the case of getting into these things where there's so much going on. Where do you start? So there's some interesting things that I think we need to kind of look at that are been in the news, false narratives that are peddled, and like for example, the Proud Boys. We know that it came up in the presidential debate. But did you know that the mainstream media said, whatever you do, don't interview the Proud Boys? And then we've got cancel culture to deal with, like canceling because they don't like something that you said or something that you did in the past, or where your family came from, or cancel all the statues or the founding fathers because, after all, they own slaves. They need to be canceled. So you get to, go into some of these things. Also saw that we're having, our 10 days is over, right? And Trump is right back into doing rallies again. And it was pretty good rally. I was listening to, this morning that Trump was on. And I think, the first couple minutes of that we'll get into that as well. So, that being said, let's first get some of the housekeeping out of the way. This program is brought to you by your donations to me. Thank you very much for all that you've been doing and have been doing since this lockdown has occurred. It is what I've come to rely upon, and everyone here has been so generous. I also received one more donation yesterday for $100. Thank you very much. And any size donation is very much welcome. Even the $5 donations that came in, those were fantastic, really, because it shows me that you appreciate what I'm doing, and I will keep at it. So, let me see. So there's a couple other things. Let me bring up some things here. 1 second. Now, I'm just going to let's see, bring over this one. Let's do this one first. This is Tim Cast. He is a recovering hippie. Now, I shouldn't really put it that way, but why is it not showing up? Hello. That happens sometimes. I gotta kind of like flip it back and forth. No, that's not the one. There we go. All right. So this is Tim Cast. He's a Trump supporter, and a lot of the there's been, like I said, recovering hippies coming on his program. They speak about things, but they've kind of changed their direction on things because they look at what Trump is actually doing. Now he's got 750,000 subscribers, massive audience. So we'll listen to a little bit of him, and he's going to talk about the Proud Boys.
Area where Antifa is saying we're going to have our rally here, and then it's also you get Antifa saying we're defending ourselves because they came to our town. So to talk about this, we have the chairman of the Proud Boys, Enrique Tarrio, and we're also going to talk about the names that you have been called, your organization, the founding of your organization, and I've got the Anti-Defamation League pulled up. I've got the Southern Poverty Law Center. I've got the AP. We tried to find some of the harshest criticisms in a professional sense, so the ADL and the SPLC, because we're not here for softballs, and we're gonna, we'll call it like we see it. But I think it's important to actually hear from you, because I heard you were a white supremacist, and I couldn't help but notice that you're not white.
Well, probably like really bad at my job, like being a white supremacist. So, but thank you for having me on, Tim, and I really appreciate that you guys have me on when a lot of people don't want to have me on for some reason. I don't think I'm this giant controversial character that people are portraying us to be. I think...
Well, to give you some... I don't know what the right word is for it, but I'll say it this way. We've got a lot of stuff to go through. And, like the criticisms, like I literally just opened by saying I was critical of what you guys were going to do in Portland. I think, ultimately everything turned out fine. There was no violence. But when Donald Trump was giving the debate, when he was in the debate with Joe Biden and he was asked to disavow white supremacists and right-wing militias, it was Joe Biden who yelled out Proud Boys. And then Trump said, stand back and stand by, something like that?
Stand back, stand by.
Well, immediately following this, I saw a wave of journalists saying, do not interview the Proud Boys. I thought to myself, why? Joe Biden called them out. This group, we need to understand what it is and why it should be condemned or told to either stand down or whatever Donald Trump was saying. Why would journalists, even New York Times journalists, say don't interview individuals that were named in a presidential election debate, potentially one of the most important? So naturally, we actually wanted to get you in sooner. It's been, I don't know, we just kind of do the show. I'm not here to, scheduling is fast and loose or whatever. But immediately, I started having people ask me questions. Is it true that Donald Trump told white supremacists to get ready? That's what people were asking me. And I was like, that's not true. I mean, the Proud Boys are not white supremacists. I think you're wearing a shirt that says American supremacist.
On purpose.
So, and you're also not white.
No.
So,
it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, I do hate to bring it in this direction, but for those that are listening, do you want to describe your ethnic background so they understand?
So my parents came, my grandfather came from Cuba back right after the revolution, and they're definitely not white. I'm African and Cuban descent from both. Actually, some of my ancestors are indigenous to Cuba, and I don't think I have any white at all. I've never done one of those DNA tests. I've never wanted to spend money on it. I don't care, because to me, I've never cared about somebody's race or religion. It's not a thing for me. And the same thing for the Proud Boys. We don't, like, when you join a chapter or you try to join a chapter, in the application process, we don't ask those questions. We don't ask you, oh, well, what's your religion? Like, it has, like, those little cards that show you how dark your skin is to see where you check off. We don't have that.
Those are real?
No, I don't know. I saw that in, like,
That's
one of
a
those
Family Guy memes. Yeah. Okay. Well, so let me ask you, man. What are the Proud Boys?
It started as a joke on Gavin's show, and
Gavin McInnes.
Gavin McInnes' show.
Founder of Vice. Co-founder.
Co-founder of Vice, which I give him crap for that all the time. But we started as a joke on Gavin's show. It wasn't supposed to go past the first meeting that they had. He was trying to get his intern laid, and he invited everybody to the bar on a Friday night, and they came out, and it wasn't supposed to, like, he made up the name from an Aladdin musical, and he did the tenets and the credo, the degrees of membership, all right there, a cappella, like straight. What are your tenets? And these are the 10 tenets of being a Proud Boy. And what are the degrees? And he went through them. And it was made right there on the spot. And it started blowing up. And it really started to blow up after the J20 riots, the Inauguration Day riots, because we dared to fight back. Conservatives weren't fighting back. Antifa was basically burning down the city on J20. They were beating up Trump protesters throughout the entire election. We saw what happened in Berkeley, and there wasn't, like, conservatives that were fighting back. And it wasn't like they claim us to be like some type of security force. So something that they always say is like, oh, you guys we're doing security for Roger Stone. We never get hired to do security for anybody. We just went to go see Stone at his events, and we just happened to be there. We've never really provided security for anything. So,
okay, I guess that's enough. So let's unpack this a little bit. So, not white supremacist, right? So now we are certain that mainstream media is lying to us. How do we know they're lying? Their lips are moving. So American supremacist, that's one way to, I guess, put it, right? I'm an American supremacist. I can say that. I believe America has something in it that's above all other countries in the world, that's unique. And I believe that. Now, I'm not saying that, other countries don't have things about them that make them unique and superior in their own way. And there's no problems with that. So why is there a problem with the Proud Boys? Right? It's because they're standing up. It's because they are taking action. As I said, conservatives are not fighting back, right? So they're going to not take any guff, right? So they're going to stand there being proud of being American, and they're going to, if you're going to go ahead and challenge them, they're not going to back down. And that's why they don't want people to know about them. That's why they want to slander them and say they're white supremacists. So now we can see this is, it's all hogwash, right? Anything that they've said about them is stupid. I'd actually love to interview him myself. So if he's not getting placed at the interview, I said this would be a good place to do some interviewing. Grab him and see how we can contact him. Say, hey, come on, let's talk about it. And I'd actually, be good to, get them involved in doing the assemblies, right? Because what they're doing is standing up, and that's what the assemblies are all about, is standing up. So let's look into doing that. I'd say is probably a very good thing. So, well, let's talk about some more of this, slandering that they like to do against groups, and let's show the hypocrisy of it. So what we have here is the Blaze, Glenn Beck. And he's talking about Joe Biden's ancestry.
In Joe Robinette Biden's family tree. We have the graphic here. If you're watching Blaze TV, you can see the chart, there it is, of 6th generation of Biden's family. Starting with Generation 1, the current candidate for president, Joe Robinette Biden Jr. Generation 2, Joe's father, Joe Robinette Biden Sr. And on to Generation 6, starting in the 1700s, Jesse Robinette, who was born in Maryland in 1776. Wow.
1776, right? Right back to the years of the Founding Fathers. Remember, cancel culture, right? Canceling all of the Founding Fathers for owning slaves, all the horrible things they did to the Native Americans, so on and so on and so on.
Wow, what a great thing to have, huh? Now, here's where it gets dicey. Let me show you the next document. This is from the U.S. Federal Census in 1820. 9th up from the bottom list as the head of the household, Jesse Robinette, as in Joe Robinette Biden. This is Joe Biden's great-great-great-grandfather. Now, the left side of the form is the count of Jesse's family. But the right side shows something else. How many did Joseph Bidenette, Biden's family, how many slaves did they own? Well, Joe Biden's great-great-great-grandfather owned 12 slaves in 1820. 5 male slaves, ages 14 to 25, 2 male slaves, ages 26 to 44, 3 female slaves, ages 0 to 13, 1 female slave, aged 14 to 25, and 1 female slave, aged 45 plus. Now, according to this report, again, from a very respected genealogy firm that is trusted by both famous celebrities and politicians, Joe Biden's ancestors were slave owners. Now, with that little chunk of information, it kind of puts Joe's work with segregationists in a whole different context now, doesn't it? It adds a little more weight when Joe tells black people that they aren't black unless they vote for him. I can almost hear the crack of the whip. It makes the remark that he made just a few years ago, they're going to put all of you back in chains, a little more grotesque, seeing it was his family that put people in chains. It makes it all the more sickening when last week he said a black woman was stocking the shelves while he was safe in his basement. It's weird that nobody has ever really dug this far into Biden's father's side or family. Or did they and just not want this to get out? Now, after knowing this, and if you work at the altar of cancel culture and societal justice, can you still be calling for the destruction of statues and monuments and still vote for Joe Robinette Biden? After all, his family was there, and they owned slaves, just like Thomas Jefferson, who must now be destroyed. Can you still vote for Joe Biden? Can you do it? I'm just curious. I don't know. I don't make the rules. If you call the America of today an evil country based off its past, then what does that make Joe Biden? Me, I think Joe Biden is unfit to be president based off him, being one of, if not the most corrupt politicians in history. I personally don't think the sins of his family tree mean anything at all to the man of today. But that's not how today's modern left operates, now is it? I mean, I'm just going by their rules. And if you go by their rules, Joe Biden should be canceled. And
Okay, so the hypocrisy is very palpable at this point, right? So Joe Biden is from a slave-owning family from the time of the Revolutionary War, at the time of the Founding Fathers, when all of them need to be canceled. But now Joe Biden, he's okay. You can vote for him. Now, again, flip it around to the Proud Boys, where the Proud Boys, have a half black, half Cuban native, that is proud to be an American and says he's an American supremacist. And they're calling him a white supremacist. I say, but don't interview them, because they know that this labeling is mindless. It's to direct their minions to follow their lead on whatever they say. Just don't think about it. Right? Let's install communism, and then you don't ever have to think again. In fact, we insist that you never think again. You just fill your role, unless we don't like the role from your past, and then we just eliminate you. So this is the evil of this that we're facing. It's right in front of us. It is palpable. It is something that we're faced with in a way that it's never come to light the way it has now in the last few years. This is why it is time to stand up. This is why it is time to take some action, even small actions, like liking this video, sharing this video. So yesterday I said, we're flat, right? We were locked in for 14,760, right? It wasn't budging for days. Right? So I said for you guys to make a push, and it worked. We went up 2. So keep pushing. Share this link. The sharing link is right down below. It says share right underneath the description, just like right there. Just go there and go ahead, press that button that says share. And when it says to Facebook or to Twitter or to whatever other one you would like to share it, copy to your email, send it out to your Telegram, whatever you'd like. Please share it. Those little steps, they add up. They add up tremendously to where things take shape. Things start happening. Oh, actually, something did happen about the subscribers. Actually, I was contacted by a marketing company. I guess I hit their threshold of sites, and they offered me to advertise their product, which is just a video game, actually. And I'm an old school gamer, so I'm all into the old school gaming. All right. I don't get to play as often usually because I get very absorbed into those immersive games, and so. But this looks like it's going to be a fantastic game coming out next year, beginning of next year. They're already in their alpha stage, or they're starting their beta very soon, and then they'll be in the springtime of 2021. and it's called New World. So I will probably start doing some commercials for that. So, so again, small little increments, small little steps. Soon you create the reality in which we're all headed. And we already know where we're all headed, right? But we've got some rocky times to go through, and we can see, that it is, though, shaping up really well for us. Okay, so let me move on here. Well, I did talk about this yesterday. So the WHO urged world leaders to stop using the lockdowns as a primary virus control method, right? I think the lawsuits are having an effect there. And let's see, what's the other? So this is something that was kind of interesting, and this is on the Resolver. Let me bring this up. It's cutting off a little bit. Let me see if I can fix that. There we go. Okay. So this is rigged. The chairman of the Presidential Debate Commission is the co-founder of Color Revolution, organization linked to the STEELE dossier and more. So it's the guy that's basically running the presidential debates, right? And they have money coming in from Soros, right? So it's just kind of interesting to see that's the kind of thing that is that Trump has to deal with, right? His enemies are organizing the debates. So what does that mean for Trump, right? Because Trump is has been really showing himself as impervious to all of these things that they've been doing, right? I don't know if you heard that. There's like kind of a siren, several of them. Very rare that I hear sirens, really. Okay, so there's a I'm just bringing up this rally that Trump was in Florida. So he's starting, back on the trail, right? Just like he has in the past, right into it. So this has been one of those, times where we've had 10 days. It was exactly 10 days. When this kind of thing happens, it makes you think that, they put up the Mickey Mouse clock, 10 and 2, the hands pointing to 10 and 2, so October 2nd. They talked about 10 days darkness. So was it really dark? I was pointing out that it seems like it's actually 10 days of brightness, because all of these things came out, all this information we've been waiting for, the evidence. Every day, some more coming out. And after exactly 10 days is over, what happened? Trump right back into doing the rallies. So maybe it was just 10 days of Trump not doing rallies. I think that's more or less what we've been faced with, right? It wasn't anything more than Trump not being able to do his rallies for 10 days. So let's key into Trump here. And see, I've got getting into about 5 minutes of it here.
It's great to be with you. Thank you. It's great to be back. It's a lot of people. Our competitor, Sleepy Joe, he had a rally today and practically nobody showed up. I don't know what's going on. Sleepy Joe. But it's great to be back in my home state, Florida, to make my official return to the campaign trail. I am so energized by your prayers and humbled by your support. We've had such incredible support. And here we are. Here we are. But we're going to finish. We're going to make this country greater than ever before. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We've made tremendous progress. If you look at what we're doing with therapeutics and, frankly, cures, we've made tremendous progress. And I said to my people, we are going to take whatever the hell they gave me and we're going to distribute it around to hospitals and everyone's going to have the same damn thing. We've all endured a lot together, and we are doing better by far than we ever did in 2016. The enthusiasm's greater. The spirit is greater. We're going to have, if it's possible, an even greater and more important victory than we had just 4 years ago. And nobody ever said this fight was not going to be a hard one, but we will make it like you've never seen before. We are more successful now than we've ever been before. Our military is rebuilt. Take a look at what's going on with our economy. I hate to say to the fake news, we're about to hit another stock market record.
Stock market record.
Sleepy Joe Biden, not a nice guy, by the way, I have to be honest. Not a nice guy. You know, people say, oh, he's such a nice guy. He had a very bad day today. He had a very bad day. You saw what happened. If I ever had a day like he had today, they'd say it's over. It's over. Now, Biden had a bad day. He forgot Mitt Romney's name. He didn't know what state he was in. And he said, today he's a proud Democrat running for the U.S. Senate. No, you can't do it. It's the second time. Can you imagine if I did that? It's great to be with you. It's great to be a wonderful developer from New York. Then say, he's out of here. Get him out. Now, Biden had a bad day. He's got a lot of bad days coming. Look, we can't play games. The one thing I know for sure, President Xi of China did us no favor. President Putin of Russia, you're looking around. Kim Jong-un, whatever happened to the war we were supposed to be in with Kim Jong-un? Right? Kim Jong-un, they're 100% sharp. We have somebody running who's not 100%. He's not 80%. He's not 60%. We can't have this. As a country, we can't have it. Joe Biden is also owned by the radical globalists, the wealthy donors, the big money special interests who shipped away your jobs, shut down your factories, threw open your borders, and ravaged our cities while sacrificing American blood and treasure in this ridiculous, endless wars, set of endless wars that we've been in for a long time. 19 years, they're all coming back home. You know that, right? They're all coming back home, our great warriors, our great soldiers. The corrupt political class is desperate to regain their power by any means necessary. We're the ones standing in their way. We're the ones standing up for the American worker, the American family, and for the American dream. And that's what we're doing on this beautiful evening. This beautiful evening in Florida. Oh, do I like Florida. Did we win Florida last time? Was that beautiful? We won it. You know, everything I hear, we're winning by a lot. Then you turn on the fake news, they say, the polls are tied in Florida. I don't get it. We had the same thing last year. Remember, 4 years ago, we had the same thing. We're going to lose Florida, they said 4 years ago, by 5 points. They called that thing so early in the evening, we won by a lot. And we're winning by a lot more now than we were 4 years ago. 22 days from now, we're going to win this state. We're going to win 4 more years in the White House. We're going to make our country greater than it has ever been before.
Okay, so you can see the enthusiasm, but he had some things to say, you know, where compared to where Joe Biden is. So he hits the ground running. 10 days of darkness, meaning without Trump. And he hits the ground running, big crowds. And what was it yesterday? I showed you on this place in Arizona. He had nobody at the rally. Nobody showed up. Zero. The reporter was there. So if the reporter's there, and there was a notice that went out, even though she said that they said that they tried to keep this quiet. Why would they try to keep it quiet? You know, it's a rally. You want people to know, right? And then nobody showed. The only one that showed up is 45 minutes earlier before the rally was supposed to start was Biden and his entourage and the press. That's it. So Biden is finished, right? Nobody will show up to his events unless they really have some kind of obligation to, right? They're connected to family members involved in the campaign or something like that. They can't get anyone to go out there. Who is excited about Joe Biden? How can anyone be excited about Joe Biden if they even took a squint at him? Not even a look, a squint. What's going on with his family, the amount of corruption that's bubbling over, right? That his son was doing the Russian collusion. That means he was doing Russian collusion, right? The woman that was the former wife of the mayor of Moscow, right, who owns the Kosovo technology park, where Hillary Clinton sent all of our tech giants to bring technology to Russia, including military. He gets a $3 million payment from her. Hunter Biden gets a $3 million payment. What is that for? And when was it? At the time of all this was going down with 4 years ago, right? This is when all of this stuff was happening. So the Russian collusion was on Hillary's part. Uranium won. The idea that the Russians had hacked the server when they knew it wasn't the Russians, but they needed to blame it, and then they put it on Trump. Whatever they're doing wrong, they put it on their opponent. They're doing Russian collusion, selling off all the uranium, bringing all technology for hypersonic missiles to go to the Kosovo park, technology transfer park. And then, the Hunter gets a payment of $3 million. So this whole system that they have there for all the Democrats is that it can't go directly in Biden's name or Hillary's name. They put it through their family members. Or they're in it together, right? So if Biden is receiving, son's receiving $3 million, how much of that gets to Hillary? See, that's the question. Or is it just, are they all taking their piece? They all get their money in separately. Who knows? But we can see how dirty it is. Biden, whether Biden actually is sunsetting, meaning he's not able, he's going senile or not, don't know, right? Could be another con, right? Because, he seems a lot more daft at points, right? But is it just a matter that he needs to step aside and not be prosecuted, but they needed to get elected? So see how disrespectful the Democrat Party is towards the whole the Constitution and the respect that they have for the presidency and for the Congress. For them to put up someone that they know is not fit to be president, that's how much disrespect they have for the country. It's just amazing that we have, so much energy towards the positive. And this is unfolding in such a miraculous way. There is no better time, right? This is the time to make the changes in the world. And the way that happens is by way of us standing up. Join the assemblies. This is, we had another meeting today for the assembly talking about just websites and, the actions that are being taken. So there's court proceedings, and we're just talking about all the different things that are in play. Also, some things that need to be draw our attention, right? So we gather together so that we can discuss it. I mean, what are we going to do? Sit back and let the politicians, who are all attorneys, handle it? And all they're concerned with is how they're going to make money, how they can basically take more from the people. That's all they're concerned with. Now the things are about to change. The structure that's sitting there, all of those people, all of those things need to be replaced. And who's going to do it? That's why we start assembling. We don't learn their system to get into their system of how the corruption happens. We start assembling and we start working towards figuring out what's boots on the ground say. What are the events happening locally? We have one sheriff willing to go ahead and do and fulfill on the arrests. Hello, who's going to consider it? So that's steps forward. We need to keep moving. You know, we have the ability to do it. Don't listen to the mainstream media. Don't listen to the politicians. Don't listen to what they're saying. It's just a way of diverting you. Focus on getting together and forming assemblies. On the website, I'm going to make sure that there is it's not up, so don't go looking for it. It's just preliminary. So, but when it's formed, there will be a place where you can we'll see all of the meetings that are occurring, the blogs that we're talking about, the events we're going to have, the classes that we're going to have, the tech, what we've discovered on how we have to put things together, how to do affidavits, how many people are in each county, for doing the county assemblies. There's also a couple of city assemblies started as well. Right? It's wherever people assemble. We are the governed. We are the government. That's what the Constitution is there. We just elect representatives to go represent us until they're not doing that anymore. Until they're creating legalisms that are supposed to be law that are against the constitutional rights. Then it's our responsibility to replace them. And that's what we're doing. Okay, so let's kind of see about a couple more things. So, all right, let me see, is there anyone in the chat room that's ready to have a conversation or have any questions? Well, we've got 33 viewers, hello everyone, and we've got Victoria saying hi, and Lisa saying, this is funny. I don't know what is funny, Lisa. Okay, well, if you have any questions, you can post them there. So, but I'll just move on then. So we've got a few things to take care of on the 17 NES postings. So let's go take a look at that. There's not too many of them. Looks like we'll probably have a short day today. So I think this is where we left off. Yeah, so October 9th. Yeah, I think so. 4845, I think might be the latest one we did, or no, I think we did cover that one. Yeah, threats, blackmail, and bribes. Yeah, we did talk about that. That's something. Oh yeah, this is a new one. So this is from October 11th. It shows an image here. This is a conversation taken from a game. Now, Rod Rosenstein, when we'll click on that Twitter, we'll load that up. See what that has to say. Now, that particular conversation, we'll bring that up as well. But that is a back channel, a way of communicating incognito. Thank you, our Justice Department, for our federal law enforcement agency protecting our governors and all of the rest of the people. Okay, here we go. We're talking about this. So, thank you, the Star Wars chat log for failing to hide deep state comms. Thank you to the NSA for having it all. So that's this graphic right here that we were just looking at. So let's pull this up from here. Zoom in on it. So this is a Star Wars chat game, a Star Wars game, and this is the chat that was internal to the games, right? So this is where, when they were trying to hide from their information, they would come in all anonymous-like, right? They took in names. So here's the group's name, Palpatine's Revenge. Here's Dooku, so someone his name is, and Severus, and then Huck and Roger. And there's Dooku again. Dooku, Severus, Roger, Huck, Severus, Jules, Roger, Okay, so here's the conversation going back and forth. Now it's been theorized that Severus is actually Obama. Just so you know. So RR isn't taking poop. So that's Rod Rosenstein, right? Isn't taking poop. He knows our friends have the stuff on him. What does that mean, right? He's blackmailed. He's controlled. Then he says, "I'm hearing Mueller maybe at the end of the week." So this is the time when Mueller was, I think, going to go visit with Trump. That first meeting, supposedly to get a conversation going on him being the FBI director again, which he wasn't able to. So what was he there to talk with Trump about? That's the question. And here's Severus, hearing that too. White House is blindsided, meaning Trump's White House. Let's put MF back in the news. I forget who that is. I think that was Trump's old attorney that was sleazy. Yeah, can have S draw up a memo on Turkey with Erdogan thugs beating protesters in the street. It fits the news cycle. I'm sure we'll need a few more memos down the road. Good practice. So if this is Obama saying this, then he's basically saying, hey, let's get some thugs, beating protesters in the streets. Just saying. All right, so here's Huck. He's responding, I'm in. S in here. So is S in here? I don't know who S is, but our friends in New York still have a secure connection set up and waiting. So they still have a skiff, a safe place to communicate. So MF is mentioned in a company or group event. Evidentially, they will work. The Limey is paying off. So Limey. So we're talking about Christopher Steele, right? The Limey, like the Brit. Paying off how? Getting to him. Yeah, I mentioned Limey, and he called earlier this week, scared poopless. He isn't a brightest bulb, but the project has worked perfectly. It really has, Huck. Didn't AEWP, don't know, what is that? Mentioned it when he gave him that tape. Not AE, but someone else there. Not sure who. I wasn't listening in, but our carrier pigeon said in a debrief that they said something along the lines of, no wonder no one has our business has called Limey out. What's the point when you keep bringing us great stuff? He's actually helps our page views and gets, and when she gets off of her minions fired up with dumb poop first. Okay, and Severus says that's pooping amazing. Well, it's not the same word, but looking for another one. Should go with that Battlestar Galactica term. They were saying you're always using fracking, but that also gets into that process of removing oil from the shale. Fracking. All right, Roger. Any update on Camp Eagle? Asset en route. Don't expect much from it. It's been far too long. Okay. Figures out Huck. Keep the connection open and expect something to come through the pipeline a little later. Just call them. RM. Who's RM? RM is happening. RM is happening tonight. So they'll have plenty to cover. Okay, then Dooku is saying tonight, quicker than I thought. Connection, Huck is saying, connection to remain open. Let me know if you want a tip on RM. What is RM? RM might be Robert Mueller. That's probably what it is. Yeah, that makes sense now. Okay, and just let it ride. Today's time is up. Everyone knows what to do. Tomorrow will be a busy day for all, so we'll let everyone know when the S hears from the grapevine. All right. So these are the comms, right? That they're dealing with on the Star Wars chat to hide what they were doing. Okay. So what does it have to say about that? Thank you to our Justice Department and our federal law enforcement agents for protecting our government and all the rest of our people without regard to politics. Do you trust your sources? RR? So there's the question. So they're saying RR may be compromised against them. So do you believe the election will be successfully rigged to avoid accountability? Though I think they do think that, but I don't think they realize how deep they're in the poop. What do they have on you? Dark secrets? All right. So the next one here, 4847. So this is an older post. Do you remember when the media had wall-to-wall live in fear coverage of North Korea? Do you remember when Hawaii accidentally sounded the incoming missile alarm? That's a missile shot at Trump while he was going to Singapore. What happened? North Korea no longer a nuclear threat. Mountain collapse. China seeking North Korea commitment to fire short, long-range ballistic missiles pre-election. Trying to cause trouble, looks like. Stage is being set. All right. So let's go. 4848. Sometimes public awareness of certain events prevents occurrence. Sometimes public awareness of certain events forces accountability. So basically, by bringing up the public and having people focused on it through 17NES posts, then we can see that certain things may be prevented because everyone's eye is on it and watching. So there may have been some of that. So 4849. You have to select, you've been selected to help serve your country. Never retreat from the battlefield, i.e. Twitter, Facebook, etc. Use other platforms as a form of centralized command and control. Organize and connect, bridge through linking. Spread the links. Go ahead, share this link. Sources, memes material from Battlefield and or Garage, highlighted and share, take and drop. So that's it. Take and drop this link. Here's your mission. Mission 1. Dispute, reject propaganda push through posting of research and facts. Mission 2. Support role of other digital soldiers. One fails, another stands up and rises. Mission 3. Guide, awaken others through the use of facts, D-class 1 through 9 material and other relevant facts, and memes, decouple MSDNC, control info stream. Ask counter questions to initiate thought versus repeat echo of MSDNC propaganda. Mission 4. Learn to use camouflage digitally, primarily account suspended and terminated use of secondary. So, I never put up my secondary account. You just have to search wwg1wga_love, or is it .love? Yeah, it's .love for the YouTube channel. So you can subscribe to that one. I did post some things there. All the little square videos that I've been recording, I said I had to clear them off, so I threw a bunch of them over there just to save space on my hard disk. So they're all over there, in case that becomes something that's a good resource. Okay, where was I? Identify strengths and weaknesses, personal and digital targets, re Twitter, Facebook, others, examples of memes, failure to read through the use of algorithm, think Tron, MCP, master control program, dispense on person-to-person capture, slow response time, unidentified users, game theory, information warfare, welcome to the digital battlefield, together we win. And that's the end of the posts for today. Let's look back. Any more questions come in? Your volume is low a lot of times. You know, let me see. Is there anything here? It shows that I'm up at full speed. So let me again give a demonstration. Hello, everybody. This is me about a little more than one hand length away from my screen. My microphones are right down here. If I speak here, it will be louder. If I speak up here, it's less. There is an option for me to kind of play with the gain and kind of boost this. I will play around with that. There's been an upgrade to this software that I'm using. It's called OBS, and they had mentioned that they have some new filters for the audio. So I'll play around with that, see if I can get that fixed for tomorrow, and until the other system can get back up and running. Well, I keep getting donations like this, I will have enough time. So, I could order that display card. The display card to repair that is about $150, something like that. And then take a couple weeks to get here, and then I gotta open up the system and do my own surgery, which I'm capable of doing. All right. Well, I guess that's good for today. We're just at 55 minutes, so I do appreciate everything that you've been doing. If you would like to give a donation, the PayPal link is down below. So is the LifeForce link. So if you'd like to give to LifeForce, click on the LifeForce link. If you want to donate to me directly, go ahead and click on the one that says to me. And if you'd like to contact me, my Telegram link is down below. My email link is there as well. Email takes some time to get response. Don't worry, it could take days. If you want to be fast, go ahead and connect me on Telegram. You can even just call. I accept calls when people call me. No problem. And I guess that's it for today. I look forward to tomorrow. And then I'll let you know also. Oh, one more thing. Any gamers out there, if you're an old school gamer, new school gamer, if you like those immersive type of games, contact me. We'll do this a little alliance thing that we'll play in the game, and we'll start getting some of these concepts that I pioneered in another game that I played. It was an immersive type of game called King's Empire, where we had an alliance where we never went to war with anyone that didn't go to war with us first. And we even, our motto was to go out and into this world, and when we were out looking for resources and things, we wouldn't steal any resources. We wouldn't find like, oh, there's some farmland, let's go take it over. Rah, rah, rah. No, we would only find new resources and would only say, and if we got kicked out by someone, they come over, we contact them and say, that was our land. Why did you take it over? Well, you have to give it back to us. We were always respectful and acted in honor, and we didn't want to go to war. And I played that game for 2 years. Our alliance was the only alliance that ever won the entire world. The only one, through peace. Peace throughout. Every time we built up and we ended up going to war because we were attacked, total destruction, starting from scratch. But if we kept building and building and building, we had more and more and more. So this idea of everything that took place in the world, they tell us, war is good for the economy. That's poop. BS. That's the stuff that is like the real fake narrative that's out there. But I tell you, when we played that game, we saw everything in a condensed amount of time. We saw spies infiltrating our alliance, and all the backstabbing that was going on, all that politics and dirty pool and everything. But we just kept sticking to acting out of honor and integrity. And it changed the game. In fact, what happened after we won the world, we literally had the whole world. The developers were angry with us. Yes. Because they weren't making money without war. Because when you're in war, you have to buy these extra upgrades, right? So that you could like defend your city, right? You'd have to buy a timeout, right? A shield that covered your city. And so people weren't buying these extra things. They were just playing the game and building and building and building. They couldn't, they were upset. They ended up conspiring. The game developers conspired against our alliance. They have another alliance, and they gave them a cheat on how to build bigger armies faster. Like more money. They had like an infinite wallet or whatever it was, but they also had a cheat in which they could create large amounts of armies by doing certain settings, and then it would create very quickly instead of taking days to create the army. So we ended up wiping us out. They did. The developers was against us. We still came back. Same thing. But after that, we stopped playing. After we actually got back and built ourselves back out, took a section of the world, we all decided, going up against a developer isn't so much fun. So we bowed out. But anyway, I want to take those same principles and put it into this new game. So if you'd like to play, contact me. And we'll set up some. It doesn't start until springtime next year, so that's 6 months from now. But let's start getting together and talking about it. I'm going to do a commercial for it, so talk about its ecosystem. And you know why I want to talk about the ecosystem within a virtual game. Maybe we can